All right, here we go. Welcome to Shellcast, the podcast that's a beach break for your ears. Hi there, I'm your host, Jackie Parker, and I work for the Lee County Visitor and Convention Bureau to promote Fort Myers, islands, beaches, and neighborhoods. Fort Myers is located in Southwest Florida, about 2 hours south of Tampa. You can find out more about the Fort Myers area by visiting our website at visitfortmyers.com. And I'd like to welcome you to season 3 of the podcast. How is that even possible? We are kicking off season 3 of Shellcast with a preview of the Island Hopper Songwriter Fest. And if you're not familiar with Island Hopper, let's start off with the basics. It's a 10-day music festival and will be happening September 20th to the 29th on the tropical island of Captiva. Then it hops to Cape Coral, makes another hop to downtown Fort Myers, and then wraps up on Fort Myers Beach. This is the 10th year for the Island Hopper, and there are so many new events in store for everyone. We've got a free app that we're going to be talking about that is full of Island Hopper info, and we encourage you to download that for all the latest information and ticket information. My guests today are singer-songwriter Claire Liparulo and my colleague Nancy MacPhee, who is the product development manager here at the VCB and is our ringleader when it comes to all things Island Hopper. And welcome to you both. Thank you for being here, Claire and Nancy. I'm so happy you could join us on this episode.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Jackie.
And so let's just start the conversation. This episode is really all things Island Hopper. We're going to get we're lucky to have some performances by Claire in the episode. But let's talk a little bit about Island Hopper and why this event is so important to the Fort Myers area.
And congratulations on your 3rd season. It was 14 years ago when the Tourist Development Council tasked the VCB with giving them a signature event during the month of September, which is our slowest month here in Lee County. So we researched and we knew we wanted to do something music related, and we fell on the footprint that we have right now that touches several communities, starting out with 2 in 2014, Fort Myers Beach and Captiva, and now we're touching 4 communities. And we chose songwriters because we wanted a reason to create excitement for visitors to travel into Lee County again during September. So we're bringing in songwriters, BMI songwriters from outside the area that have written hits, right? Most importantly, we do have a local live music scene here in Lee County. We use live music venues that are BMI licensed for our performances. This year, we have 93 BMI writers that are going to play Island Hopper, but only about, I would say, 2/3 of them come from out of the area. So the local songwriters like Claire are very important to the formula for Island Hopper, because this is what you can see on a regular basis here in Lee County. During Island Hopper, you can see even more with the hit makers that we have coming in from, perhaps, for instance, only 10 of which have a ticket associated. So most all of the shows are free, and the 10 ticketed experiences you can learn more about them on islandhopperfest.com, but we have everything from songwriter cruises to wine pairings with a songwriter singing, and our final show, of course, down at the Pink Shell with Scotty McCreery headlining. So that's it in a nutshell.
BMI catalog, it really is. So it's a great way to showcase and everything. And Claire, you're coming back for your 3rd Island Hopper. What keeps you coming back?
I love meeting other people who do what I'm really passionate about. There are a lot of people within our own community, great songwriters, great performers, and I always think that people would really be surprised who lives here. They'd be really surprised by some of the real talent that exists right under their noses. And I was really thrilled to be a part of Island Hopper the 1st year and the 2nd year. And every year I seem to meet more people that I just think are really awesome. Both the people that come to the festival, you get to be discovered by people in your own community, and then you get to build bonds and friendships with people that travel, that take their craft really seriously. So for those of us who intend to make this a profession, like maybe we don't necessarily want to get a publishing deal. Maybe we want to be artists. It still is a really great opportunity for us to network with other writers so that we can grow our own writing and our own network.
Yeah, it's good. It's good networking for all of you, and as just visitors to the area and people who are attending Island Hopper, we get the benefit of all that. We get to see some just amazing performances. So, are there any performers that you look forward to seeing when you're at Island Hopper?
Me?
Yeah,
Oh, you know what? I love the Myrics a lot because they are just such down to earth. And I don't get up to Nashville as much as I would like to, but I just love their writing. A lot of Megan's writing, I know Danny's writing he's gotten a lot of number ones. But I also think that Megan's writing is really special. And whenever I get to hear them perform together, I think it's really touching.
yeah,
Um, I obviously love Sheena because she's from here too.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and she's a friend, and I look forward to seeing, oh gosh, who else? I
But
got to
yeah,
sing I got to sing with Frank Myers last year. That was really special to me with his songs. And I was like, am I allowed? And he's, yeah, go for it.
Frank Myers, so he's so generous, and he's such a just one of our favorite Island Hopper alums, Nancy.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. They real and you mentioned Danny, Claire. It's interesting. They've played, I think, this will be their 10th year, which is remarkable to me. There's only a handful that have done it all every year we did it, but he's fallen in love with the destination, and it was him and a few other writers after Ian that actually organized a benefit in Nashville to support our hospitality workers that were all displaced. It's a testament to them and to what we've built, that Island Hopper and our area is so special in their hearts because of Island Hopper, the experience they gain when they come down and visit.
Yeah. So Claire, what are you gonna play for us?
So that was a good lead in to the song I'm about to play. This is a song that's not released. But I wrote it about, I want to say, maybe 3 or 4 months after the hurricane. And when I say the hurricane, those of us who live here, we know we're talking about Hurricane Ian. Um, I wrote it afterward because I was born and raised in Florida. I grew up in the Venice area, so I grew up on the beach. And when I moved to Fort Myers, Venice beaches and Fort Myers Beach are very different places. They're very different environments. And I was used to being in a really quiet, like serene, natural setting when I would go to the beach. And then I moved here about 20 years ago. And I was like, I was overwhelmed by Fort Myers Beach because there was so much going on, so many smells and so many different people. And it was loud and boisterous. And then I ended up really falling in love with it. I used to go down to the pier to watch the fireworks. I did that for over a decade. I started getting residencies on the beach as a performing artist. And um, when I was volunteering with World Central Kitchen down at the beach when they were feeding workers and people who had lost everything, there was a woman I met. I went down there to volunteer and play music for the people that were waiting in line. And I couldn't work for a couple of months because of the storm. And I thought, what better way to participate in the community than by giving something that I know would help people's spirits. And there was a woman who had just lost everything and was like living out of her car. And I played Tom Petty for her. And and out of like joy for it. And I was like, this is exactly what I love about this place. I wanted to write an homage to people in our community that moved here for a reason. And this song is called No Shade. Can we talk about how good things are? You sold your house and you bought the bar. Moved to Florida where it's always warm, just like you always talked about. It's mostly daiquiris and hurricanes, and all the swingers try to get your name. It's fried food and trivia games, beach bums, covered bands, and burnouts. it's a beautiful thing. Feels good strutting around with my out, no shame. Longboard, cigarettes, all there. Cassette tape, it's a beautiful day. For all full sun and no shade. The tips are good and now there's regulars. A local spot to the snowbirds. You know enough to put your people first. Just like you've always talked about. Sunsets even on cloudy days. The muggy nights and the warm days. Down here it feels like nothing's ever gonna change. And that's a beautiful thing. Sneaking into motel pools, stealing towels and ice cream. Drips down your wrist, t-shirts with a painted bikinis. It's a beautiful day for all full sun. No shade, no shade. We got enough cash for a couple handouts, bucks for a bag of chips. We'll check out the boardwalk where seagulls stealing your sandwich. And it's beautiful. Well, it's a beautiful thing. Feels good strutting around with my cash out and no shame. Longboard, cigarettes, all there. Cassette tape. It's a beautiful day for all full sun. It's a beautiful thing. Sneaking into motel pools, stealing towels and ice cream. Drips down your wrist, t-shirts and faded bikinis. It's a beautiful day for all full sun. And no shade, no shade, no shade. Can we talk about how good things are?
All right.
I missed the name, Claire. What was it called?
Oh, it's called No Shade.
Shade, no shade with a D.
ADE, yeah.
That's what we thought. We just wanted to double check. That's
Yeah.
great. That's
Thank
great.
you. I felt like I was listing a bunch of stuff people would complain about, but fall in love with later.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
great. That's great. So you haven't released this one yet?
I haven't, no. I've been writing a lot, and I just put a record out a little over a year ago called The Cost, and it's between an EP and an LP. It's 7 songs, so that's a controversial amount. What to name the body of work. Some people say it's not a record, that's an EP, and I'm like, it's a record.
It is. It's whatever. It's really like whatever you want it to be. So with The Cost, it is. It is such a. It's such a stirring, emotional ringer of a song. My goodness.
Thank
It
you.
really it's so powerful, and I would encourage people to catch the YouTube performance where you were performing in an empty pool, an empty swimming pool outside the Juniper Recording Studio, which is in Cape Coral.
Yeah.
And it's this great setup. There's a lamp, you're sitting on this retro-looking chair and the mic, and it's so cool. And you're just, are you down there? Was it the acoustics? What was the appeal of performing in the bottom of an empty swimming pool?
So my friend Caleb is an exceptionally gifted producer and writer who we're lucky enough to have in Southwest Florida. And I knew when I was going to make my record that I wanted it to be with him, and I would love my next record to be with him too. So he was putting in a swimming pool at his house where his studio is. His studio is like in a mother-in-law suite on his house in Cape Coral. And he was like, he called a bunch of us, like some of his friends and people that he's worked with, and was like, I have a wild idea. Do you feel like doing a video down in the bottom of the pool? Because
Cool.
forever to get built. I was like, yeah, of course, I'd love to. Put me in, coach.
And okay, and the person you're talking about, his name again is,
Neff.
and
Caleb?
Yes, Caleb
Oh,
Neff.
yeah. He's played Island Hopper
He has,
before. Where's
he,
he this year?
he's
He's
on,
awesome.
yeah, he's on tour in England right now. So I don't know that he'll be back in time, unfortunately. But yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, music is such a fun. There's so many closed doors in the music industry, but there's also so many open ones. And when you keep getting them slammed in your face, I think you get used to saying yes to weird things because you just need to walk the door, but it leads to such cool experiences that no one, most people can't relate to, but they sound really cool when you're telling stories.
let's see, I want to talk about the places that you're going to be performing. So Claire is going to be performing at 6 of the free Island Hopper shows, and I've got them here. Or do you want to talk about them? Do you want me to talk about them?
If you could, yeah,
Okay,
because
all right, I got them. I got them right here. Friday night. So Island Hopper is going to be kicking off on Friday, September 20th, and Claire is going to be performing on Captiva Island at South Seas at 8:45. And then on Saturday, September 21st, at on Captiva Island at Tween Waters Island Resort and Spa at 2 o'clock. So that'll be an afternoon show. I imagine that's poolside. What do you think, Nancy? Is that
At the Pink Shell? Yes.
at Tween
Oh, I'm
Waters
sorry. Yes.
on
Our,
Saturday?
our venue at Tween is poolside.
Yeah, so that'll be beautiful. That'll be a beautiful show, and as will South Seas. And then on Saturday, you're going to be back at South Seas at 6 o'clock. So you're going to be a busy girl out there on Captiva that weekend. And
I,
then Sunday, we can catch Claire at RC Otters for a show at 1:30. And
mhm.
then on Wednesday, Claire will be downtown in downtown Fort Myers at the Lucky Screw, my favorite lunch spot in downtown Fort Myers, for a 6:30 p.m. show. And shameless endorsement there. And on Thursday, she'll be at 6:30 p.m. at the City Tavern in downtown Fort Myers. That's a lot of shows, but yeah, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all in Captiva, and then Wednesday and Thursday on downtown Fort Myers. And when you download the Island Hopper app, you can personalize it. You can pick out your favorite performers and see when they're playing and follow them for lots of good times. It's just all good. So I wanted to talk real quick about this, and this is about Claire. This High Lonesome Round songwriter group that you're
Oh,
a part of. That's really interesting, and you do stuff with Gulf Coast Symphony, I think, also.
I did for the summer. Yeah, we did a little summer. They invited me to bring my songwriter series into the symphony as part of their summer programming. And so we went through a summer season together, and now I'm back at Nice Guys, Nice
Okay.
Guys in Cape Coral.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started it. It was probably going to be your question. When did this happen? When did
Yeah.
it start? So it actually started because my first year at Island Hopper, I got to play. I was only on a couple of shows, but Sheena had invited me to play her Femme Collective showcase, which was at Nervous Nellies. And I was floored because there were thousands of people. There's photography that's used in the Island Hopper marketing that I still see from that night. God, there were
Yeah.
so many people, and I was so taken by the event. And I had aspired to be on this songwriter festival for years, but I was still developing as an artist and I didn't feel ready. And then I finally did feel ready. A couple friends connected me. And that night I was just like, wow, I didn't know this many people cared that much about songwriting. And so through the subsequent year, I just didn't notice or hear of, and I'm very active in the music community around here. I just didn't notice a ton of events that followed it up. And so I was like, I would love to do more. They do this 7 nights a week in Nashville. They have songwriter rounds in like 100 bars in the surrounding area.
Mhm.
And so I thought that rather than like just hoping that somebody would do it, I just decided to do it. And I know that there's been a couple of songwriter showcases or rounds that happen like maybe once or twice a year, but I wanted something that was a bit more regular than that. So I started quarterly and I went monthly over the summer series. I'm still playing with the frequency of it. But the goal of it for me was, it was so important in my band, the Free Coasters, for us to have community in our genre. It's a very tight knit community. So we have access to people that help us book dates on tours and maybe help put us up on the road, or people that if we need a producer, we want someone to dub one of our songs or something. We have access to people who are exceptionally good at that type of thing. But in this genre, in this part of the world, I didn't have a ton of that. And so I wanted to create something where I could invite people from out of town to mix in with some local people, just like they do with Island Hopper, so that people could expand their networks. And maybe I've booked people from the Gainesville area, I've booked people from Texas, I've booked people from Miami. And the goal for me is to have songwriters here who take it seriously and want to go to the next level, make friends, and even go to the events to network if they're not playing the event, help them figure out where they're going to play next that may not be here. But it also helps create a market in
Yeah.
our area when our artists are doing things that the public see as notable, and touring is a notable thing. It's difficult, and I think it feels like a big deal to people who are even outside of the music world here.
And even if a performer isn't performing that night, just to show up, to just to be supportive is important. So
Yeah.
that's you've got this little collective, all these little collectives going. That's great.
Yeah, community, if we've learned anything in Southwest Florida after Hurricane Ian, is that community is one of the most important things that you can have. And that's, you can create that in your neighborhood, you can create that in your music scene. We've just lost I think when COVID happened, a lot of us lost the roadmap for how to connect with other people in the real world, and you just have to leave your house and do it because it's so important as like organisms in the world to connect with other people.
Yeah. And it's that we talk about it all the time, the healing power of music. And it's, you don't have to know how to play a guitar. You just listen. All you got to do is listen, feel it. So that's great. That is so great. Well, good for you. And it's just it's a you know it's what the arts layer of our community is strong, and it's getting much stronger. And I'm thinking of, there's a patch here in Southwest Florida, and you're sewing it up with the one over in Miami and the one in Sarasota, and so it's just really kudos to you for doing this. This is great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's see. Hey, Nancy, did we talk about the dates for the actual Island Hopper schedule? Like, really?
You did. It starts on the 20th and runs through the 29th. But just to clarify, we'll be
Yeah.
on Captiva Island from the 20th to the 22nd of September at 6 venues. The newest one on Captiva is the Jensen's Twin Palm Marina. They've redone some area by the Back Bay, by the marina, and they help us with housing songwriters in some of the Royal Shell homes. So they've agreed to be a venue. And then we'll go to Cape Coral from the 23rd of September to the 24th. There's 3 venues in Cape Coral at Tarpon Point Marina. Then we'll be downtown Fort Myers the 25th and 26th at 5 venues, including the Lucky Screw, where Claire is going to play. And I'm excited because this is a new venue for us. We've not had Lucky Screw in the mix. We have 2 special ticketed shows downtown. One of them at Sidney Byrne Davis Arts Center, which is the local ACMA, the Americana Community Music Association. They have 5 songwriters that will do a showcase. And then on Thursday, the 26th, Jeffrey Steele, who's a really great songwriter. I've been trying to get him for over 6 years. He's going to play with the Gulf Coast Symphony at the Florida Rep. And we've not done a symphony show in 5 years. So it's another way to celebrate our 10th. And then we're heading down to Fort Myers Beach. And there's 6 venues on the beach, including Margaritaville, our newest venue, 7th to the 29th. And the shows, Margaritaville will do a special show Friday night, the 27th, with Christian Bush, Cassie Ashton, and Shane Prophet. And that's a ticketed show that's sold out, actually. And then finally, if you want to see Scotty McCreery, you will need to go to the Pink Shell on the 29th, and there's not many tickets left for that either. But if you book a room at the Pink Shell, you get in for free. So there you go. So that's our lineup of shows. We're really excited.
Wow, it's amazing how much Island Hopper's grown. It's
Yes.
just amazing.
And it's done its job. We've seen the businesses report that compared to past Septembers, their business is boosted a little bit by Island Hopper. And of course, for the Visitor and Convention Bureau, the tourist tax revenue has grown significantly from 2014 when we first started. So we're doing our job, and that's why we're going to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, people can from all points. If you're too far away for driving, you can fly into Southwest Florida International Airport (RSW). You can fly into Punta Gorda Airport (PGD). There's just lots of ways to get here, and you can come in and catch a few shows and then go back to your life. But it's really hop in, hop out. It's all about the hop. It seems so. All about hopping around. Okay, Claire, we're wrapping up here. Do you want to do a song to close us out?
Sure. I thought that I would do one off of my record. I'm being a Southwest Florida or a Florida native, so to speak. I grew up out in the woods a lot by myself. I spent a lot of time out there and wrote this song during the COVID shutdown. I was part of a songwriter group that Keith Klug, another Island Hopper artist who was based in the South Florida area, put together this group. And he would give us prompts every week. And one was a day in history that you thought should be remembered. And so I wrote about, I'm a fan of John Muir and the national parks and everything. And so I wrote about the day that they decided to erect the O'Shaughnessy Dam and they destroyed Hetch Hetchy Valley. Because I think another really important thing in our state that we care about, it's one of the only things I think all Floridians agree about, is that we need to preserve our environmental and our green spaces as much as possible here. So this song is about that. It's called God's Cathedral. And this is out. You can stream it anywhere. We dammed the valley. We damned ourselves. We believe in preservation of material wealth. We mark the trees. We cleared the land. Then we paused, smiling to each other for the stupid photograph. No God's cathedral could really use a swimming pool. Do you know what improves paradise? Sure think that we do. So we monetize our water, and then we fail to understand why she don't call us like she used to. Still we hold out our hands. That we made ourselves a mirror. Does it show us know God's cathedral could really use a swimming pool. Do you know what improves paradise? We sure think we do.
Nancy, you're on mute. Nancy's on mute. She was clapping. That's all right. That's all right.
So sorry. It was
That's
beautiful.
all right. Yeah, God's Cathedral. Do you know what improves paradise? We sure think we do.
I spend a lot of time county and state parks here. One of my favorite parks in Lee County is over just past Buckingham. It's Hickey's Creek Mitigation Park. I spend a lot of time there. It's one of the most beautiful parks, I think, in the county, and it's so well taken care of.
Yeah.
And you can see so much wildlife, and
Yeah.
I never even get bit by bugs when I go out there, and I think the ecosystem is so healthy. But
we like to plug our parks, don't we, Nance?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. I was lucky to open that park when I worked for the Parks Department. It is beautiful.
The ranger out there is lovely. I went out there. I used to go sometimes like 3 times a week, and I was like, whose truck is this? I keep seeing this person. I'm like, is this person, are we meant to be friends? And then I realized that it was her truck.
Is that Nikki? What?
I don't remember her name, but it is a woman.
Yeah.
It's got some cute stickers on the back.
FWC was involved when we first opened it. It was for gopher tortoise habitat, actually, but there's a lot of wildlife there. It's very healthy. It's a very healthy ecosystem.
It is. And if you go hike out there, you can hit up Roosters on the way back into town and get some boat ice cream.
Yes. One of our farm markets. Wonderful.
These are things that people can do when you're not at Island Hopper, right?
Yeah. Extend your stay.
We're all about that. Enjoy the parks, enjoy Roosters, and all these other great places to eat and drink and do. Island Hopper's close, and we can't wait to see you perform and at one of your 6 shows, so it'll be easy to catch you.
Yeah.
But thank you. So we're going to wrap up here. And thanks again to my guest, the incredible Claire Liparulo. And please see one of her performances at Island Hopper. And Claire will also have a High Lonesome Round on September 19th, right before Island Hopper kicks off. And she's going to be doing that at the Music and Arts Community Center here in Fort Myers. And our own Nancy MacPhee, the Product Development Director for the Lee County Visitor and Convention Bureau.
Thanks, Jackie.
The person who creates and makes events like this such a success. And that's going to do it for us on Shellcast, the award-winning podcast of the Fort Myers Islands, Beaches, and Neighborhoods. And it's produced by the Lee County Visitor and Convention Bureau in Fort Myers, Florida. And Shellcast is available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts and at visitfortmyers.com. My name's Jackie Parker. Thank you very much for listening.